Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my series where I've been taking a look at every NBA team to analyze their offseason so I can give viewers an understanding of how their teams will perform this upcoming season. The team we'll be taking a look at today is the Denver Nuggets. So the Nuggets had an outstanding regular season where they finished first in the Western Conference, but they didn't stop there as they wanted to show that they were the most dominant team in basketball. So in the first round of the playoffs, they played against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They beat the Timberwolves in 5 games very easily. In the second round, they were tasked with a very difficult matchup against the Phoenix Suns. The Suns at the trade deadline had acquired Kevin Durant to pair with Devin Booker to form a very excellent dynamic duo. The Nuggets started the series at home and they won the first 2 games. The series returned to Phoenix, where the Suns won 2 straight games at their home stadium, behind Herculean efforts by Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But the Nuggets wanted to show that they're no fluke and that they're the best team in basketball. They won the next 2 games by a combined margin of 41 points to send themselves to the Western Conference Finals. In the conference finals, they matched up against the Los Angeles Lakers and they swept them. They wanted to show that they're no fluke, and they dispatched the Lakers pretty easily. And then in the finals, they were matched up against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat came in as the 8th seed and pulled quite a few upsets to get to this big stage. So in the first game of the NBA Finals, the Nuggets won by double digits, only for the Heat to respond back and win Game 2. But the Nuggets, they wanted to flex their muscle again. They won the next 3 games of the series to complete the gentleman's sweep. Nikola Jokic was Finals MVP, and the Nuggets had a storied season and their first NBA title in franchise history. So when we look at the NBA draft, the Nuggets only had one second-round pick, but they decided to package that pick as well as the 2024 and 2029 first-round picks to acquire the draft rights to Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett, and Hunter Tyson. Thought process was pretty clear. Try to acquire 3 cost-controllable players that can help add to the rotation and be guys that can help the Nuggets achieve the goal of repeating and even forming a dynasty. The 2024 first-round pick won't be a big risk if the Nuggets perform at the level they're capable of. This will probably just end up being a late first-round pick. 2029 pick, however, is very unknown. We don't really know where it's going to land, but definitely still a good move by the Nuggets, prioritizing a win-now team. So when we look at the players, Julian Strawther was a 3-year player at the University of Gonzaga, and in his junior year, he averaged 15 points, where he shot a pristine 47% from the field and 41% from 3. Then we look at Jalen Pickett, who was a 5-year player at college. So in his first 3 years, he played for Siena. Then he moved to the Big Ten, playing for Penn State for 2 seasons. In his 5th season, he averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. He had an incredible 27 PER, which showed just how incredibly efficient he was. And then the last player we're going to look at is Hunter Tyson. Basically, he was also a 5-year player, and in his last year, he averaged 15 points and 10 rebounds while shooting 48% from the field and 41% from 3. In my opinion, they got 3 college players that are probably ready to play today. That was really their whole motive behind this. This gives them role players pretty quickly, and they don't have to wait on developing prospects. So very smart move by the Nuggets think tank. Now let's look at the moves they made in free agency. So first, they signed DeAndre Jordan as well as Justin Holiday. So DeAndre Jordan is a guy that's well past his prime. He was on the Nuggets last year. Didn't play all that much. I think he'll probably have a similar role where he won't play a lot of minutes. He's going to be a guy that's a locker room presence, clubhouse leader, and just a motivational guy for some of the younger folks on the team. And then Justin Holiday, he had a very limited role last year, but in his career, he's known as a guy that can knock down the three-point ball at a pretty decent clip. I think he'll probably start off the season as the backup small forward and be in the rotation. Next, the Nuggets signed Reggie Jackson to a 2-year, $10.25 million contract. Reggie will be tasked to be the backup point guard of the team, back up Jamal Murray and take some pressure off of him. He's going to have to play make and score the basketball pretty well for a Nuggets bench that's really weak this upcoming season. And, one of the reasons the bench is going to be so weak is because they lost Bruce Brown. Brown was a terrific player. He was a guy that can guard 1 through 4, play positionless basketball, and frankly showed that he was also an outstanding offensive player. But when you look at the Nuggets starting lineup, Jamal Murray, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players in all of basketball. In the regular season, he came back, averaged 20 points per game, shot 45% from the field and 40% from three. And then in the playoffs, he was much more dominant and showed how really gifted he is. Then we have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a guy that never needs the ball, but offensively is a lethal shooter. Shot 41% from three last season, and defensively he's an excellent perimeter defender. And then we move on to the small forward position for the Nuggets, which is Michael Porter Jr. He averaged 17 points per game and shot 41% from three. Also a good defender. Then we move to Aaron Gordon, who averaged 17 points per game, shot 56% from the field and 35% from three. One of the best defenders in basketball from the forward spot. Just an excellent player, very athletic, and he complements Nikola Jokic so well. Speaking of Jokic, he was the starting center of this team and a perennial MVP candidate. He had won MVP the previous 2 seasons, just last year just barely missing out on his 3rd straight MVP. He also missed out on averaging a triple-double by 0.2 assists, so we just know how good the guy is. He was the finals MVP. And there's not enough good things, that we could say about this Nuggets starting lineup. It's dominant and it's just very, very good. The weakness only for this team comes from the bench spot. I believe Chris Braun is going to be a standout player from the bench. He showed a lot of flashes of excellence, in the playoffs last year. But I think this Nuggets team is primed to make another deep run in the playoffs.